So we're going to look at vocabulary dealing with angles and right triangles. That is really what we're doing. A lot of this you guys have seen before or heard before. There's only going to be a couple that are new. And this is probably one of the longest. I tried to cut it down, but I could pull some out because I know you know like acute and obtuse. I know you know those, but they're freebies if I leave them in. So let's talk about this. The first one, an angle that measures less than 90 degrees. It's acute angle. It's an angle that's less than 90 degrees. It's cute. Oh, he's so cute. All right. My girlfriend's cute too, but I don't talk about it. Why did you make that face, Haley? Haley,
my boy Lando's
when you get married, do you want your husband to say you're his girlfriend?
I'm not getting married. My boy Lando's
yes. I want
my boy Randy.
All right, shh. It's a acute angle. It is less than 90 degrees. We have three types of angles. Acute is less. A right angle is perfectly 90, and obtuse is more than 90. Let's look at this next one. Angles in the same plane that have a common vertex and a common side. A common vertex. The vertex is that point right here where the angles meet. So if two angles share a common vertex and a common side, we call them adjacent angles.
Adjacent.
What if that's your boyfriend?
So adjacent angles simply mean the angles are side by side.
There's stupid glare on the screen, and I cannot see it. What is that? Hey, the dumbest thing ever.
That would be crank calling. Okay. I only looked at the phone. My daughter broke her ankle. She turned 18 last week. So we took her to a trampoline park in Austin, where her brother and her boyfriend convinced her to jump off this wall onto a trampoline. So she broke her leg off right at the joint area.
I thought you said you broke her.
So she has surgery next week. The truth, yeah, well, it's her leg.
Does she have a cast on it?
No.
She has the paramedical. There's this girl, she has a cast and it goes right.
No, I paid for military. She's good as long as she's good. All right, let's move on. This will be a terrible video for those watching it. A pair of angles on the outer side of two lines cut by a transversal that are on opposite sides of the transversal. Now, what we're talking about, we're going to be talking a lot about parallel lines. Parallel lines have the same slope. There are two lines with the exact same slope. Parallel lines have a lot in common. It's a shame they'll never meet. Now, those of you who got that, that's okay. The transversal is a line that cuts those. That's called a transversal. So we're talking about a pair of angles on the outer. We're talking about an angle here and an angle here. We call those alternate exterior angles.
That's out of my room.
No, I just put it in there.
I was going to say that.
So alternate exterior angles are the angles on the outside of the parallel lines, each one on the opposite side of the transversal.
Why is your line so much longer than ours? Yeah. Mine's like...
Yours is the same as mine. I just write small. Alright. What is a figure formed by two rays with a common endpoint called the vertex? What do we call that? What is that? What is that? It's an angle. An angle has two rays with a common vertex. Mary, stop playing with Landon and do this. All right. Omar, stop getting involved. Two triangles are similar if it can be shown that two angles of one triangle are congruent to two angles of the other triangle. This is probably the longer of these, and it is called angle. You're gonna like this one. Angle.
Angle similarity.
Angle similarity. What it says is, remember, how many degrees are in a triangle?
50.
We just did it on the board. How many degrees are in a triangle?
180.
180. Now think about this. If you have two angles and you know what they are and they match, will the third angle match too?
Yes.
Because both triangles have the same amount of degrees, right? So what this says is if you've got two angles and they match, then the triangles are similar. We're going to get to similar and what it means coming up under S. But similar means contains the same dimensions. Proportionally it's the same, but the size is different. All right, two angles whose measures have a sum of 90 degrees.
Angles.
Now you'll like this one. This is what I expect you guys to be.
Congruent. Complicated. Complementary.
Complementary angles. When you add them together, they equal 90 degrees.
You put company. You put company.
You know, Sierra, you're so 30 degrees.
You're so 60
Let's go.
degrees.
Rancy, Rancy,
You put a 10.
Rancy. It's a Y, it just looks bad. Rancy, listen.
Don't do it.
You're so 60
Don't
degrees.
do it.
You said
I
it
just said it
wrong.
backwards. You're so 30 degrees, Sierra.
You're so 60 degrees.
We're complementary.
I don't. 32, 60, 82.
We just complimented each other.
No, I thought you were calling her a Q.
Well, I guess that works too, but they definitely went weird. All right, let's go back to this. What does it mean to have the same size and same shape?
Congruent.
Congruent. Congruent is a fancy term.
You're mine.
Haley. Congruent is a fancy term that means the same.
Oh, congruent.
Identical twins are congruent. Those of you sitting in a chair in this room, except me, your chairs are congruent. Same size, same shape. Those of you sitting on a stool, your stools are congruent.
Objectifying.
Number 8. Angles in the same position formed when a third line intersects the two lines. Angles in the same position when a third line intersects two lines.
Slope. We're done with slope. They're similar. I don't understand. Similar angles.
Now I forgot. My brain just left me.
Can I go home?
No.
Why not?
There. Angle. My brain left me there. You guys. I gotta sit somewhere except by Isaiah because he blows me up.
What?
Hey. Hey. Hey.
Wait.
Corresponding angles are on the same side of the line in the same position. These are corresponding because if they're parallel lines, and these angles are exactly the same. They look the same, they're in the same position, they have the same degrees. So we call them corresponding.
Oh my god. I can't believe you just said it.
I'm having problems with that table over there.
Hey, I'm not doing that.
I'm just letting you know. Number 9. If you're going to cry, keep it yourself. Number 9. An angle on the outside of the polygon. So, shh. A polygon is any shape that we can form, right? What is this polygon right here?
Triangle.
It's a triangle. So the angles on the outside are called exterior angles.
Exterior. Are we supposed to?
Exterior angles. Now, here is something important. This is not an exterior angle. Because it's not actually on the outside of the polygon. I know it looks there. It's one of those things that's caused me the most problems ever. Are you getting this done too there, Mackenzie?
Yes.
It's a good eyeball. Exterior angles are on the outside of the polygon, but they have to share a common side with the polygon. Does that make sense? Whereas this little angle out here, it doesn't share any common sides with the polygon. It's all by itself. Isaiah, how about work on this? Number 10. In a right triangle, the side opposite the right triangle. It's called the hypotenuse. So in a right triangle, that's the the hypotenuse. I always remembered it that way. So the hypotenuse will be the longest side of a right triangle. Does that make sense? Hypotenuse will always be the longest side of a right triangle. And if it helps you remember, just call it the hippo because it's big.
Ew.
All right. Number 11. An angle on the inside of a polygon. If we called this an exterior angle, what's an angle on the inside?
Right angle.
Interior angle. So when we had our triangle, this is an interior angle. It's on the inside. And the three angles on the triangle add up to? What do they add up to? Sit down. What do the triangles add up to? 180. Later on, we're going to play with some other stuff. Like I said, I like the triangle. Somebody showed me that one day. I have to remember not to pick Omar next time.
Why?
All right, put it up. We'll start here tomorrow.